Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This week, we're going to go through a lightning round. We're going to talk about the best company for you, and I can pretty much limit it down to 2 types, if not 3, depending on what you want to do. But you got to stay tuned for all of this very, very short video to know which one you should pick. Go ahead, click like, click subscribe, tell everybody that I'm amazing, and then we'll be right back. If you want to start a company and you're going to go to LegalZoom, you're going to search the internet, it can be very, 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 very confusing. And I'm going to tell you, as an attorney who's done this a million times now, what the best company for you likely is. And I'm going to make it really, 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 really simple. If you're starting a business from nothing and you say to yourself, I'm not necessarily sure if I need a company or how expensive it is, the first thing you should think about is, am I going to be paying taxes on this? Because your taxes in some states, it's going to be expensive. California, as an example, $800 minimum fee, even if you make zero money or lose money on your business. So most people start off as something called a sole proprietorship, which means it's going to be you, John Smith. Now you can go out and get a DBA, doing business as, or a fictitious business name by filing it in your local clerk county recorder's office. And when you do that, guess what? You can be John Smith doing business as John's Computers, or you can just have checks made out to you, John's Computers. You can get a checking account opened up, but you are personally liable for everything this fictitious business name, this perceived company does. Even though they're getting paid as John's Computers, guess what? You are liable, and that shows up on your tax return on one of your schedules. There's not a huge amount of tax benefits there. There are some, but more importantly, this doesn't give you the legal protection of an entity. So Chris, where should I go? For almost every single person watching this, you're going to choose one of 2 options, an S corporation or an LLC. And the option that you should choose should come down to one decision only, and that's what's the best tax structure for the business that you want to get into. If it's passive income, like owning property and renting it out, it's almost always going to be an LLC. If it's not that and it's active income and it's you actively selling something, it's almost always going to be an S Corp, and there are always exceptions. But the tax reason is the reason why you would choose one entity versus another, believe it or not. Now, some people say, hey, Chris, what about a C Corp? If you're going to have more than 100 shareholders, you're going to have a bigger company one day, you can always convert your S Corp to a C Corp. Don't worry about it. S Corp is still the way to go for you. And the S Corp will actually be a cheaper filing, and it runs through your actual personal tax return. So there's a little bit of ergonomic and logistical challenges that you can get over pretty quickly with a good CPA that'll save you money. There's a ton of other types of businesses out there. You can have a limited partnership, a general partnership, and for most people, that's really just an agreement of working together, and there's different structures as to who can do what in those partnership-like agreements, and they are not formal companies per se the way an S Corp or a C Corp or an LLC, a limited liability company, is. There's several different other variants other than that of companies or entity structures that you can look at. Lawyers often have to have a professional corporation or a professional law corporation. You'll see them as PLCs or APCs and things of that nature. But for everybody watching this, guess what? If you want one of those 2 businesses, it's going to be an S corporation or an LLC. Don't overthink it. Figure out how other similarly situated businesses that you want to be competitors for what you were doing are getting taxed by the entity structure that they have, LLC, S Corp, and that's usually a huge hint to you on which one's going to have the best tax strategy for you. I always recommend talking to your CPA before you actually do it, and no, believe it or not, you do not need an attorney for this. So save yourself some money, save yourself some time, follow these cheat codes, and start a business that's right for what you're going to get into for a tax basis, and everything else outside of that, maybe you can grow into one day. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week.